Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our weekly Fuel Arts online broadcast webinar Creative Tech Series. My name is Denis Belkovich. I'm the general partner and CEO of Fuel Arts, the platform which merges the two worlds together, the world of creative tech and the world of venture capital. Our co-host today, as always, Daria Rzhavtseva, the head of business development and partnerships at Fuel Arts. If you want to partner with us, please contact Daria and you'll have success.
Hello,
So,
everyone.
yeah, hi, Daria. So, today we have a very interesting and unusual guest who represents, you won't believe, a successful, a profitable art and tech startup, not only sustainable, not only profitable after a successful exit, but before the exit, during the startup path, during the startup milestones, it became sustainable, self-sustainable, and profitable. So I'm happy to welcome Alex Vest, an Atlanta native and software entrepreneur and engineer focused on using technology as a tool.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm real excited to be here.
Yeah, let me proceed with the public info that we could find about you and that everyone can find about you. Then you'll agree or disagree with it, and we'll move forward.
Sounds
So
wonderful.
the public info says that you graduated from the Georgia Institute of Technology back in 2006, and with a major in computer media,
Yeah,
and you founded ArtCloud, your baby, your startup, in 2012,
yeah.
along with Artsy and others. And yeah, it's an art marketing and management platform we are going to discuss today. And over the past decade, you made ArtCloud as one of the leader providers of software in the art world. So, and ArtCloud was named as one of the top 40 most innovative companies in Georgia by Technology Association of Georgia 3 years ago. So, and today ArtCloud powers more than 20 million in transaction monthly for galleries around the world. So, are we right in providing this info? What could you add before we start with our questions?
Yeah, no, that's all factually correct, and just that we're loving what we're doing. We've like you said, founded the company in 2012, and so it's been 12 years, and there's been some ups and some downs, but we're a passionate team and really loving what we're building, and just excited for the future and all the opportunities that it holds.
Great. Thank you for this addition. Let's start with the questions. So with your engineering background from the mentioned Georgia Institute of Technology, how did you come up with the idea for ArtCloud? I mean, the art tech. What motivated you to enter the art market in 2012 when the art tech wasn't that much developed?
For sure. So Georgia Tech, I graduated with a new major at the time. It was computational media, and it was a blend between computer science and philosophy. So we did a lot of work on what does it mean to build software? What does it mean to be a human being that's using software, and how do tools change who we are? A lot of like Maslow's hammer and like this, the phenomenon of holding an object and what the world becomes when you hold that. And so I've always been fascinated by tools. I think that building tools that people can use to find real authentic value is always has been something that motivates me just so deeply. And so I always knew I wanted to build software. I knew I wanted to build tools that people could leverage to make their life more efficient, make them more successful. Also, while I was at school, I started a nonprofit art center, and it was a kind of a community art center. So we had a digital media lab, a ceramic studio, recording studio, dark room, and the success of that nonprofit, we've kind of enabled and empowered artists to make social justice changes through the arts. And the success of that organization kind of catapulted us into the art world. We got to sit on some boards of some museums with my co-founders, and just started to really meet a lot of artists and a lot of galleries, and really fell in love with the art culture. Some of the best conversations I've ever had in my entire life have been with artists, and kind of the permission to explore so many like wild ideas. And I really, really love that. And so kind of from that experience, got kind of a behind the scenes look at art galleries and how they're run, and kind of combining some of the software skills that I learned at school, thought like we could build a better tool. We could build a tool that really helps galleries succeed, and so that they can focus on the things that they, really want to do, like artist relationships and client relationships, and not all the, burdensome work of running a gallery.
Great, thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much.
Now it totally makes sense, and now it gives a lot of clearness to what you have done and why.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's always interesting to talk about the inspiration, and considering the art tech scene, art tech startup scene was just beginning to emerge in 2012 with platforms like we already talked about, like Artsy, Puddle 8, Such Art, and Invaluable Gaining Attention. Which entrepreneurs or startups inspired you during your early stages of ArtCloud?
Yeah, you definitely. I definitely have to be so grateful for Artsy. I think if you rewind back to those years, the art world was so reluctant to put inventory online, and they were so reluctant to even participate in the web. And Artsy put a ton of energy into pulling the art world forward, and without them, none of us would be here today. So just a ton of gratitude for them opening the art world's eyes to the possibility of an online presence. I also have a ton of respect for some of the godfathers in gallery management, like Spinsoft, for example, was just like a legacy management platform, and I think they just did a great job listening to their customers and really building features that helped galleries be successful, and always admired them. And kind of the other company that I loved that's kind of outside of the art tech space, but still a creative company, was MailChimp. They were founded right down the street from where I lived in Atlanta, and structured their company very similar to the way we structured it. They were a custom software company, and they started using cash flow to build this product inside of their company. And then as that product grew, they were able to kind of backfill the team behind it, and their commitment to keep growing the company in a profitable fashion, to reinvest those profits back into their team. And just like that permission to be wild and free and just quirky. I thought that was just they were incredible role model and very inspirational for us in the early days.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thanks. We started receiving a reaction from our audience. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, James.
Oh, there you go. Look at that here.
Yeah, one of the top influencers in gamify world, Konstantin Kogan from New York. Nice. So yeah, I don't know if he means that I need a new haircut or I do have a new. Anyway,
I'm gonna go with your hair looks great.
Thank you. I do not have time. We are preparing two reports at once, so don't have time to make a haircut, and hardly have time to, but always have time to make a webinar and to talk to great persons and to great founders. Let's move forward. So let's speak about your product, the ArtCloud. So could you please share some of the significant milestones that ArtCloud has achieved so far to date? So, for instance, have there been any pivotal changes to your business model throughout those years, like 12 years of existence?
Yeah, absolutely. I think not dying is probably the biggest milestone we can celebrate, because over the years you have so many ups and so many downs, and so just kind of recognizing the perseverance of the team and the commitment to muscle through all the weird hard times that you'll have throughout a journey this long. I think if we kind of rewind, the first time we built a website builder and kind of that website integration, that was, it's kind of table stakes now, but that was a pretty revolutionary idea at the time, to be able to add inventory into your management system and have that immediately available on the website, and for inquiries that came in from the website to automatically add the contact into the CRM. So really proud of the team. I think we were the first ones to ever build that kind of full circle integration. And then, we've refined it over and over and over again. We certainly have all the vanity metrics. You see a lot of people that want to, flex and say, oh, we have, this many million of artworks in the system, or this many millions of dollars of inventory. And I've always kind of thought those were silly, because they don't truly reflect the value of the business. And they're just kind of a vanity thing. But we are almost up to we're over 600 galleries now, and so we'll be celebrating 1,000 at some point in the future. And that's always been a big milestone. So that's kind of the one I'm laser focused on now. It's how do we get 1,000 galleries on the platform, and just real excited about that. And kind of the last thing I'd mention is it's a little bit hard to measure, but we have solidified our team culture so much, and I'm just most proud of the team, being able to hire people that are really good at what they do in all the kind of different segments of the business, and having true professionals that are committed and aligned on company culture and company vision. It's not to be taken for granted, and I regret not having that locked down in our company sooner, but we're there now, and I'm just so grateful for the team and all the hard work they put into the company.
That aligns so much with our corporate culture. We at Fuel Arts think the same about our team, and I'm always proud of our team. And I have additional question to you. Actually, two questions. The first one is about your team. Do you know how many team members are currently watching our webinar? Are currently watching the webinar with their founder?
I have no idea. I think I saw one.
Wasn't that obligatory? No.
Yeah. No idea.
Okay, cool. And the second question is more serious one. If we try to shrink what you've said about ArtCloud, about your milestones, about your business model, can we say in one phrase that ArtCloud is a CRM for the art world?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think there's a little bit more outside of the CRM, but the CRM is the core value prop that we provide. I think that it was very sobering to hear from a gallerist the other day, but he said, my business, my core of my business is my artist, not my software. And he was totally right. I wanted to be the center of their universe, but the artists are the center of their business. Without that art, they have nothing. And I think that it's the very secondary thing there is collectors. And so without clients, prospects, and collectors, the gallery doesn't exist, the dealer doesn't exist. And so we, aligning our product with their artist management and their collector and their CRM, helps us get as close to the core value of the business as possible. And so that's always a North Star for us, is to prioritize that CRM functionality.
Thank you. Probably Megan is a part of your team.
Yeah, Megan is a great part of our team.
Yeah, I see that from her reaction. So.
Yeah, I think Dennis started our webinar today with the information that ArtCloud really stands out as a self-sustaining, profitable entity within the art tech sector. And I'm curious, and I think that our viewers, our audience is also curious, have you sought external funding? And if so, what has been your experience with fundraising? Because many founders really have lots of problems with the fundraising topic. So what is your experience?
Yeah, we raised a little bit of friends and family money, early on in the business. I think, if I could have raised private equity money, I probably would have. Looking back, I'm so glad I didn't. So it's kind of fate took care of me there. When we tried to raise, formal PE money, like a formal seed round or a formal Series A, or kind of as we hit all these different revenue marks up the ladder, we always kept trying to go back to, well, all the other software companies do this. Maybe we should try to raise money. And over again, we heard private equity companies concern with the TAM, the total addressable market. They look at, if you're building software for art galleries and artists, they look at the total galleries in the country, or in the country and then in the world, and say, okay, there's less than 15,000 galleries in the whole world. So they quickly do the back of the envelope calculation, and they say you're never going to be $1 billion company. That said, vertical software has become a real hot topic recently. So I think people are realizing if you build great software that's super catered to a vertical or to a niche, then you can, there's always auxiliary services. And so you can get that bigger TAM as a second order effect of that primary product. And so a lot of private equity companies are now starting to look at it. And you've seen, some of our competitors have been bought up by private equity and getting rolled in. And so, I think that it's probably easier now to raise PE money than it has ever been, but it's still hard because when they come in, they need to write big checks and they need to get big returns, and it's getting harder and harder to write big checks because all these great tools are coming out. It's easier than ever to write software with AI and AI augmentation. You can start launching an MVP for less than $100,000, and it doesn't fit the PE's business model to make $100,000 investments. They just can't do it. And so it'll be real interesting to see how that shakes out over the next kind of 3 to 5 years. But I think that it's probably easier to get that kind of early seed funding, and it's also easier to start a business without funding. So I'd focus on, I'd give any entrepreneurs hope that there's more opportunity now, and just get out there and try to do it.
Thank you, Alex. I definitely agree with you that there is a lot of opportunity, especially for software and software as a service platforms today. As you know, Philars is constantly researching the market, following the trends, and trying to assemble that and analyze that. So we saw that in second part of 2023, investors in art tech in particular, and creative tech in general, they started being a bit tired of these startups and business models who proposed disruption, revolutionizing. So they want something to be implemented right now. How can we earn right now? How can we see not the profit, but the revenue stream right now? So how can we be sure right now, not in 5 to 10 years, which was popular among the startup business models like 5 years, 3 years ago. So with what you are doing, and with the software, with the platform, with the product, it's much more easier to raise money today than with the revolution, the idea that revolutionizing the market or changes it forever. Cool, forever is good, but now is better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's something to double click on that, where I think patience is so important. To build something that actually matters and actually has real value, it's a 10-year, 20-year play. And a lot of these PE companies came in, especially during the ZERP environment, they can get their LPs. So the way a PE company works, obviously you guys know this, but just for anyone that doesn't, there are people behind them. It's not their money. So there's LPs behind them that are investing in their thesis, and their job is to go out there and find companies and make those investments, and then get on that hamster wheel. And these LPs are going to want liquidity. They're going to want their money back in 5 years. So they're basically saying, hey, here's $10 million for 5 years. I want 20, 30, 40, 50 back in 5 years. And so once you take that check from PE, you are on the clock, and you've got to hit all your numbers, and they're not going to be patient. And I think that when you're trying to build anything really new and novel and significant, you need patience. You need to have time. You need to be able to breathe. You need to be able to say, hey, I think we did this wrong. We need to take a deep breath, back up 3 steps, and go down a different fork. And I just feel so bad for some of the founders that I've seen that have taken money too early or at too high of a valuation, and then they can never unwind. They don't have the flexibility and the freedom to unwind and really chase the right problem.
Yes, that's very wise what you're saying, and I'm happy that I hear that kind of attitude from a founder, not only from an investor or a market researcher.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I think that it's also really important to talk about your plans and about your vision. And I'm curious to know what strategies do you have in place for expanding and scaling ArtCloud in the coming years?
Yeah. So kind of one of the newer trends in the SaaS space is product-led growth or PLG. And that basically that if you think about the funnel of a software platform, you have you have your whole TAM that we talked about earlier. Then you have kind of like the prospects that the kind of the top of funnel, the prospects that know of you. Then you kind of have engaged prospects that are kind of like actively looking to buy, actively looking to change systems, and then you have conversions. And so you kind of build the top of the funnel with marketing, with SDRs, with kind of just outreach, and that's expensive. It's expensive and it takes a lot of time. And so there's a growing trend for software companies to try to start leveraging their customer base to fill their top of funnel. So referrals and market networks and ways that the product can kind of be prospecting the community in the outside world, so that your sales team has just a higher concentration of qualified prospects to be selling to, because you're always going to need someone to explain the subtleties of your product, to answer data questions, to talk about a migration. And so, but if you can concentrate those account executives' times on qualified prospects, and they're not having to go out and drum up their own leads, then you're going to be much more effective. And so we're really leaning into a lot of really interesting and fun PLG tactics. We're also playing around with a freemium version of the product that lets people come in and really try it. I think when you look at a lot of our competitors and just the legacy players, I don't think any of them offer comprehensive, full freemium models. And we think that if you're going to ask someone to run your whole business, or if to run their whole business through your platform, then we owe it to them to show them, the guts of the system, so that they know what they're getting into with their eyes wide open, and not any of this kind of like smoke and mirrors of like, yeah, I promise you it'll do that. Just sign up, give me your credit card, and then you'll figure it out. We really want to show them and be honest and transparent, like, hey, this is the platform, this is what it does, and look how, when we believe in it, we believe that it's the objectively the strongest platform in the market. So let's just show the prospects that right away and get them really using it, and so they can evaluate it and know that it's a good fit for them.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, that sounds very enthusiastic, and of course, each founder who knows how to scale his own startup should have a vision of the future of the market. So, how do you foresee the art market evolving over the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's these crystal ball things never age well, right? I'm sure you guys have seen those clips of like Steve Ballmer, like, yeah, the iPhone, that's a piece of junk. No one's gonna ever want that. It doesn't have a keyboard. So I don't want to make too many super bold projections, but I will point to just trend lines that seem ever more constant. So it does feel like the world is becoming more and more polarized, and I think that art does a really good job of bringing people together. I think that the discourse that it inspires is authentic and welcomed, and so I hope that, and this is not necessarily a prediction, but I certainly hope that that art will continue to thrive, that people will continue to engage with art, that people will learn how to slow down and have conversations about artwork, to explore artwork, to discover artwork, because I think that art may be one of the last kind of vehicles to reverse so much of this polarization that we're seeing, both in the United States, but it seems like globally as well. And so I certainly hope, that it continues to kind of embed, itself into the community, and that has, societal benefits. Also, you can't ignore that the ZIRP environment is over, kind of the zero interest rates. That is a thing of the past, and I think we'll see inflated interest rates for a lot longer than we'll be comfortable. And so, with that, and with the election in America this year, I think you'll see a lot of turmoil. I think you'll see a lot of unfortunately business failures, just people that are hanging on by the thread right now and trying to refinance and won't be able to refinance, or the finances won't work. And so I think that's happening. I think commercial real estate, at least in America, is seems to be like a slow train wreck. And so it'd be really cool if the art world could find a way to do really creative things with what appears to be a ton of vacant office space that's going to be emerging in major cities around the world. So I have no crystal ball, but I think that it's definitely going to be a wild 5 years, and I hope that we can just be some influencers and bring a little bit of positivity to it.
Great.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, right. I mean, no one has a crystal ball, but many people have iron balls. So, and they help to survive the crisis and to predict with much more, predictive skills and much more sustainability than the crystal ball. By the way, Art Basel and UBS, they have announced the soon release of their new report, the art market, which has to be released next week. So we're waiting for that report created by Claire McAndrew and her art economics team. And it will be full of insights, not predictions, but a lot of valuable data. So Absolutely. The main report of the art industry. But so far we've been talking about the success story and the positive features, even when we spoke about the crisis. But let's speak about mistakes. I mean, there is a proverb, there is a saying like, the one who doesn't make mistakes, he doesn't work. Yeah. And so over the past 12 years, what have been some of your most challenging aspects for you as a founder and for ArtCloud as a company? Could you please share some of your setbacks and mistakes along the way, if there were some?
Yeah.
Maybe you are an angel, and
no, we never made a mistake. Every single thing has gone perfectly to plan. I don't like, who makes mistakes. I like that phrase. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing work. One that I live by is Mario Andretti. If you're not about to lose control, you're not going fast enough. And I think that's also I love that idea of just kind of embracing discomfort, because if you're not, you have to learn to love that feeling of almost being out of control, if you really want to grow. But some of the mistakes we've made was thinking that we knew best. Like we have egos. We had bigger egos when we started, and we thought we knew what the art world needed more than they did, and we definitely got humbled. And so I'd give founders a piece of advice: just talk to users as much as you can in the early days, in the middle days. I mean, I just got back from a 3-day trip to Santa Fe and met with 7 customers per day, and just kind of churn through, like, what are they living with, what are they doing with, like, what's their personal life look like, what does their professional life look like, what are their goals, and just trying to empathize, because at the end of the day, I live my life behind a computer screen, they live their life in a gallery, and those are different things. And so my intuition can oftentimes be wrong. The other, mistake I think I know that we made is that I just thought this was going to be easier. I thought if we just built it, they would come, build the best product, and people will just show up and bang on the door, like, here's my credit card, sign me up right now. and knowing that it just takes a long time to get traction. It takes a long time for people to trust you. And so make sure you're playing the long game. Like, take care of your health. Don't overwork. Don't work 90 hours a week. You have to work super hard, but like, take time, go on walks, exercise, be in nature, breathe, learn to meditate. These things that are going to give you that endurance it's going to take to really, play the long game. And then, I think kind of the last thing that I was thinking about when you asked that was, it's just as much work to do something small as it is to do something big. And so, even now I see people launching like inventory management for artists, and I'm looking at the market. I'm like, there's freaking 30 inventory management platforms in this market. Why the hell is someone else coming in trying to start a new like small piece of the pie? And it's going to be just as hard for them to go claim this little nugget of a market as it would be to do something giant. And so go big. I just think that set your sights way higher than you're comfortable with. It will force you to grow. It will be easier to attract funding, or it'll be easier to get press and to explain something than it would be if you just do these small things that are already so solved. And you're going to be competing with legacy players that are stronger than you. And just go after a big market, go after something new and novel, because that's how we progress as a society.
Thank you for your honest reply. I'll make my a short addition to it. When you were saying about the 30 or 20, between 20 and 30 actually, inventory management for artists. I remember this story about, which is quite common for all the startups, not only creative tech startups, but art tech startups in particular. So when one startup was told by their investors to make the market research, to make the customer discovery, to hold interviews with their customers, to know for sure that their product is needed. So, and they had in mind the idea of making the inventory for artists, for collectors. So what they did, they came to artists. They started asking artists, will you use the platform, or will you require the platform which will increase your sales at once you open an account there? And everyone said yes. So they took those interview results and showed it to investors, saying we spoke to 200 customers, and they all said that
want it 100%.
They want it. So again, if you have an art inventory, go to collectors, not to artists, because artists will and don't ask fake false questions. So
so big. Don't lie to yourself. Because everyone, you have that urge to just want to be right, and that is different than wanting to find the truth. And you're doing yourself a disservice, especially in the early days, if you lie to yourself, because then you're setting yourself up for a decade of hard work for nothing. And it's just it's so short-sighted, and it's so tempting to do it. It happens over and over again. I'm certainly guilty of those types of moments. And try to find the real truth, and then chase that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that many founders will see this webinar and they will learn and hear your pieces of advice, because I think it's really, really valuable to share the stories, to share the mistakes, because media is just full of successful stories and no one tells anybody how hard it can be. So we're running out of time. So I want to ask you, I think also a really important question for the founders, because ArtCloud is really self-sustaining. As we already talked, you have lots of experience. So I wanted to ask you maybe the biggest lesson that you've learned during your career path, during creating the startup. And I really think that it will help lots of founders.
I think the biggest lessons are kind of some of the things we touched on. This will take longer than you want and you think it will. It will be harder than you think it will. And so I guess the advice is all the things to help mitigate that pain or that challenge. And so, hire great people, hire people that are better than you at whatever discipline they are. Like, there's nothing that excites me more than when we get to hire someone that just knows more about sales than I do, or knows more. I mean, I remember the excitement I had when we hired our CTO, who's 10 times smarter than me when it comes to technology. And to have those types of hires and to be able to trust and delegate and let and give them autonomy and let them run, I think is so rewarding and so important for the company to kind of get yourself out of the way and just start backfilling. You as a founder, because in the beginning you're doing everything, and then when you do want to make that marketing hire someone that knows that world better than you do. And then the one we talked about earlier too, that I think is just so important, like, take care of your health. Like, you're going to be at a desk 6, 8, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Like, go out and exercise and look at the sunshine and get a good night's sleep, because it really is, as the cliche goes, it's a marathon. And if you come out the gate sprinting, you're just going to burn out. And recovering from burnout is so hard. So take care of yourself and take care of your health.
I think it's really great to hear this pieces of advice. It's really important.
Really important, and should be applicable also for applicable to our to what we're doing at Fuel Arts and our timetable and regime. So
Nice.
Right, we'll take it into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah. You guys should do it too. The one other thing that comes to mind is don't take yourself too seriously. Like, I think that so many people, they put all of their identity into their work, or all their identity into the success of their business. And if you're going to walk around and let, like, your happiness be dictated by your KPIs, like, what is wrong with you? Like, have some fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Know that, we are just, a speck of dust in the universe. Like, it doesn't really matter. So just go out and do good work and have fun, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I thank you for that tip as well. You should be introduced to our head of investment relations, Jeff Asherman. He never takes the world serious that much, yet he is a great professional, and that's a very powerful combination. Hi, Jeff. I know you're watching us. So Alex, thank you again for being with us, and we're looking forward and wishing you a great successful scaling. We'll keeping an eye on your successful path and milestones, and we're pretty sure that in a year or so we'll have another webinar with you where you share more, even more successful and inspiring stories. Thank you for sharing that in a very friendly but professional mode.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, we are meeting next week, the same time, to speak about AI in art. See you
next week.
And happy upcoming International Women's Day.